This is my post-workout meal right here. This is 3 pounds of pork chops. So I'm probably getting about 4,000 milligrams of potassium from the pork chops and probably about 300 milligrams of magnesium, and then all of my daily value for nutrients except for vitamin C from these pork chops, believe it or not. And they are baked, and I use about a teaspoon of Redmond's real salt. So I'm gonna eat this and work on this video here. Believe it or not, you guys, you can sustain life and energy just eating, 2 to 3 pounds of meat per day. And that's mostly what I'm doing right now. What's up, you guys? So I'm just laying here right now. Just completed a hardcore workout. I was at the gym for 2 hours today, getting my body used to the hard training again. It feels great to be back in the gym. I just worked up to a pretty close to a maximum 1 rep max on squat and deadlift. I basically I started off with like 4 sets of one paused squat. I worked up to, I think, 295 pounds, and I did multiple sets with a 3 second pause at the bottom. Nothing too hard, just to get my body used to the heavy weights again. And the pause at the bottom is to increase tension, which is one way of increasing hypertrophy without increasing the reps, and also to build mobility in the bottom and to build power and stability out of the bottom. Because a lot of people, they'll rock back and forth, in the bottom of a squat, or the rock bot, they'll fucking rock out of a squat and they'll tip forward as they're coming out of it. So that pause will help you stay tight as you're coming up and out. And I love pause squats, especially after a long time of not really handling heavy weights. Your hips will get stiff and you'll lose a lot of that mobility in the bottom, especially if you squat ass to grass. And so pause squats help you build that mobility to where you can get deep and your hips will not be tight and they won't limit you from reaching maximum depth, not death. Anyway, so then after that, I worked up to like max sets of one on deadlift. It was close to max. It wasn't absolute max. And I think I hit like 4 sets of one. And I did 3 sets with hook grip, up to about 400 pounds. It's more like 385, but and then I held the weight for 8 seconds at the top, and then I did try hitting a heavy set with straps, but I actually didn't notice any greater strength with the straps compared to just doing hook grip, which is interesting because usually your grip is a limiting factor on things like deadlift. But I think because I haven't really challenged my grip in over a month from the lockdown, that my grip strength is just like 100% recovered from the years that I've spent with lifting. And so so building the grip again using hook grip deadlifts and holding at the top for 8 seconds is a great thing. So yeah, so Gold's Gym here in Texas is open. They closed down 2 of the locations where I live, and basically everybody at the gym, they're wearing gloves, they're wearing their masks, and they won't let you bring gym bags into the gym. You had to sign a waiver, and lots of just precautions. But most people seem to be like over the fear of the coronavirus by now. So I had taken a pre-workout, my own concoction of pre-workout before the gym today. I did 5 grams of creatine. I did about 320 milligrams of caffeine, coming from a 200 milligram Celsius powdered packet, which is one of my favorite caffeine packet pre workout type things. Celsius, I don't know. Um, it just has some thermogenic compounds in it, and then 200 milligrams of caffeine. Then I added an extra 160 milligrams of caffeine on top of that from a orange flavored packet. So that's 360 milligrams of caffeine, 5 grams of creatine, and then I used approximately 16 grams of glycerol because my friend Jason, the one that I interviewed on my YouTube a week ago, I interviewed him because he reversed cancer on a ketogenic diet, and he's kept in remission for 3 years. Go check it out if you haven't already. He let me have the glycerol supplement, and so glycerol basically is a special carbohydrate that your body produces from triglycerides, especially from gluconeogenesis, and it taken as a supplement, it helps to pull water into the muscles, and so helps you increase intercellular hydration, especially along with the creatine and the sodium. They do the same thing, and it can produce a better pump. All right. For me, I'm trying, it, not just a pump, but to see if it increases endurance through its intercellular hydration properties. Nonetheless, took it, and because I was only doing like sets of 1, sets of 3 a day, I didn't really do a whole lot of volume. I did actually do pyramid sets on leg press afterwards. I worked up to like 640 pounds on the leg press for a set of 10, and I pyramided back down, doing like sets of 12 to 20 on the leg press just to get some extra volume and whatnot and hypertrophy on my legs. But the glycerol supplement didn't really seem to give me a pump or anything, but it might have because I did hit a new 10 rep max on back squats. I don't know, but I'll see tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to do upper body and I'm going to do a lot more volume, a lot of pump bodybuilding type stuff tomorrow. So we'll see how the glycerol works tomorrow along with the creatine. And then I took my normal 1,000 milligrams of ginkgo biloba as well. Took about 2 grams of sodium and 600 milligrams of potassium first thing upon waking to prevent cramping and to prevent the fatigue that comes with keeping your carbs low. And so in addition to the 16 grams of glycerol, which I don't know if I'd really count that as, 100% net carbs, but I did actually add 20 grams of dextrose powder, which is basically 20 grams of pure glucose, in an attempt to basically test out the targeted ketogenic diet, just to see what kind of difference I might notice. And admittedly, today during this workout, I actually did not notice any difference in my strength or anything like that, or even my ability to handle volume from the added dextrose powder. So a lot of people, they say when they add carbs before the workout, it makes a huge difference and this and that. But I've tried numerous times adding carbs back into my diet. I've tried and I've been doing keto for 1.5 years now. I've tried doing a carb week. I've tried doing like a cyclic ketogenic diet where you do 1 carb meal per week, and then recently I've been trying the targeted keto approach, and I really haven't found a substantial benefit in my strength through any of these methods. Granted, I pretty much, within the first 2 weeks, I notice zero benefits, and sometimes I notice greater irritability, less mental sharpness, and I notice negative effects. And so I haven't really tried it in a long-term fashion, but from what I've seen, it shouldn't take that long to notice benefits from doing targeted keto. And so I have noticed during an MMA workout, during 2 MMA sessions I did last week, I actually did notice a benefit from adding dextrose powder pre-workout. but I think that that might have had more to do with the overall caloric deficit I was in, and also the fact that I haven't really been training consistently because of the lockdown for so long. Because all through 2019, I noticed greater endurance, greater ability to recover, greater energy when I just kept it strict keto. And anytime I tried doing a carb up, I didn't notice any benefit towards my MMA training. So, anyway, today was just 20 grams of dextrose pre workout, which is more than enough, plus the glycerol supplement, which might or might not be adding more glycogen and glucose to my body. Um, and I didn't really notice too much of a benefit. In fact, after the deadlift, I felt the fatigue set in, and it was only about an hour into my workout. And so then I did the leg press pyramid set, and I just felt like going home after that, even with the dextrose powder. And that's always been typical, even when I used to eat a high carb diet. Um, after about an hour of heavy lifting, and I'm talking, working up close to your max effort. Anybody who does powerlifting, they know this feeling. Generally, you feel that fatigue, and you feel like, okay, I'm tired, I need to get home, right? Um, and so then I did 5 sets, and so the dextrose powder didn't really do anything as far as the fatigue. Carbs never really had made a difference. It's not a glycogen thing. It's a lot of science is showing it's more of a serotonin, um, a negative loop with serotonin and cortisol rather than glycogen that makes you fatigue after your workouts, right? Anyway, so then I did 6 rounds on the heavy bag, 1 minute on, 1 minute rest, and I felt exhausted during that. And you know, the thing is, on strict keto, I was doing 10 3-minute rounds with 1 minute rest leading up to my fight, and doing hard sparring rounds for five 3-minute rounds with 1 minute rest. I was doing crazy interval training on strict keto last year. And then, so I added the dextrose powder today, and I think because I've spent a whole month without doing hard interval training, and I've only been running long distances and doing bicycle rides, which is the closest to interval training I've came to. And I haven't really been doing any of the training I did today. I haven't been doing heavy singles, haven't been doing interval training. I felt exhausted on the heavy bag. Even though it was after maxing out on squats and deadlifts, I've always maxed out on squats and deadlifts, and then hit hard intervals in the heavy bag afterwards. And then I've been able to do jujitsu and Muay Thai classes back to back immediately after all that. Which is 5 hours of a workout in one morning. That was my typical routine through 2019 on a fucking keto diet without carb ups. And so today, the exhaustion I felt after my workout, doing everything, is purely from taking a whole month off of training. And so it's fascinating how big of a difference it makes when you cut off training for a month. It's fascinating. So, not to mention I was kind of cutting down on my volume and intensity, in January and February anyway. So, it just takes a while to get your body acclimated towards what you're doing after a long time of not doing it. And that's purely what exercise is. It's inducing adaptation to impose demands. The GAD principle. Or GAS, or whatever it is. General Adaptation Syndrome. So, yeah. So, I'm actually cooking 3 pounds of pork chops right now. And then I'm going to actually do a martial arts session with one of my friends tonight at 6:30. We're going to do jujitsu and Muay Thai. Or jujitsu and taekwondo, I think it is. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like an awesome mix, and it's a good friend of mine from my previous martial arts school that I now realize sold out to another one during this pandemic. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to offer and getting back into some training again. And yeah, I mean, I'm getting my body back into this hard training routine. You know, a lot of people they're like, "Oh, it's the carbs, it's the keto, you're overtraining." Like it's not that at all. It's like your body will adapt to whatever you put it through, but it will take 1 to 3 weeks of feeling tired and exhausted, and then you get used to it. You adapt to it. You know, I've known this since I did um, through various hard training routines in my lifetime, doing martial arts for so long. I used to do like 4 hour marathons at the gym, which is ridiculous. But even more so is doing the squat every day program and seeing just how amazing of results you can get doing that. A lot of what people know about nutrition and exercise is just groupthink, mainstream stuff, mediocre, cookie cutter nonsense. A lot of people they don't realize what the human body is actually capable of. So anyway, that's pretty much today's experience. Tomorrow is going to be a hardcore upper body routine where I do, I'm going to do higher reps. I'm going to do sets of 10, sets of 5. I'm going to do overhead press. I'm going to do, chest flies, chest press, pull ups, rows, also rows. Um, and I'm just going to hit the volume hard tomorrow. I'm going to do drop sets, pyramid sets. I want to get like a hard cardio workout with weights, basically. Because I've been doing regular cardio every day this whole pandemic thing. And I'm gonna really see if the dextrose and then glycerol supplements make a difference with the high volume, because that seems to be where a lot of people get benefit is bodybuilding training. So, yep. So I have the pork chops cooking right now. I'm gonna eat those, and I got 3 hours until I go to the MMA training tonight. Looking forward to it. And I will see you guys soon. By the way, I started taking theanine with my caffeine. Didn't take theanine today with my workout, but after my workout, that cortisol dump is real. So, took 400 milligrams of theanine post workout to offset the caffeine and the cortisol from the workout. So, I'll update you guys on that later.